They just added some new tour dates and might be coming to a city near you.
Which cities are you headed to next?
We have 5 cities that we're looking at very strongly, but we want to be invited.
They want to be invited. They want to be invited. Isn't that the plot of the movie Sinners? You have to invite the monsters in? Yeah.
After the shooting of Renee Good, you said ICE made some mistakes. What were the mistakes?
Well, look, I'm not happy with the 2 incidents. It's not, it's both of them.
Did NBC just air the most chaotic infomercial in political history? In the first 30 seconds, we'll show you how a serious interview turned into a late-night parody, complete with drug prices dropping by 1,000,000% and names so mangled even autocorrect gave up. Stay, because we splice the NBC clips with our satire. Then jump to that 75-minute National Prayer Breakfast ramble, where he praises, mispronounces, and preaches without a Bible in sight. Plus, Guillermo crashes Super Bowl week to ask players the one question NBC didn't. Curious? You will be. What happens when a presidential interview sounds like a Blender ad with extra chaos? You get Grumpy Trumpy turning a high-stakes sit-down into a late-night sales pitch, where the host asks about policy and he starts hawking amazing deals on meds like he's clearing out a warehouse. He rolled out a shiny Trump RX thing, and right on cue, the numbers started flying like coupons in a fan. We got 1,000%, 600%, 500%, 1,500%, 300, 400, 500, and even 600%. Then more of the same later, tossed in again. 1,500%, 14, 15, 600%, 1,000%, 2,000%. Even a zigzag like about 654%. No dates, no policy text, no math that lands. Pure promo energy, zero owner's manual. While he's doing this, run the fake lower third. Limited time. Save 1,000,000% on insulin. Then add the voiceover of the real quotes. 400%, 500%, 600%, 700%, 800%. And that's 800, 900%, 1,000% by 1,000, 100, 1,000, 200, 1,000, 300, 400. And we're talking about a 1,500%. And you're talking about 156,000%. It's not an interview. It's the part of the infomercial where the guy shouts new numbers until you forget what you were buying. Here's the part that breaks the spell. Medicare drug negotiation under the Inflation Reduction Act focuses on a limited set of high-cost drugs based on data with a timetable and a process. It moves prices by tens of percent, not thousands. That's how procurement policy works. You negotiate a maximum fair price after analysis, not a cartoon countdown where pills drop from $100 to free plus a car. In pharma, the real levers are rebates, formularies, and statutory caps. Those tools can cut prices, but not into outer space. And the math gag writes itself. A 100% cut means the drug is free. Anything past that is nonsense, like promising negative dollars. When you hear 1,000%, 2,000%, your brain should do the blue screen crash. Other countries that regulate prices, think national health systems, usually land reductions in the tens to maybe around half, depending on the product class. None of them promise about 654%. So ask the simple question on screen. If the plan is so easy, why didn't the numbers add up the last time? Seniors live this stuff. They know what a Part D bill looks like. They remember when a deal was teased and nothing changed at the pharmacy counter. You can't pay the pharmacist with vibes. Then he stacks more figures. 500, 600, 700%, 700 and 600, 14,500%, 112,00300, and even 1,400% and 500%. Like a kid mashing a calculator. Cut to a neutral explainer graphic. Negotiation results are typically in the tens of percent. Short, calm, boring, which is exactly why it's trustworthy. Facts don't need fireworks. They need steps. And that's the trick viewers caught. The glossy pitch made the gaps feel like features. Fast talk, big numbers, no mechanism. It sounded like late-night TV because it sold a feeling, not a fix. Also, if you're wondering why he keeps dropping new, weirder percentages mid-sentence, that's a classic pitch move. Flood the zone so your brain grabs the headline and skips the fine print. Donnie Diapers didn't bring a policy. He brought a neon sign that says sale and hope no one asked what's in the box. If the NBC spot felt like a commercial break, the prayer breakfast played like a very long open mic with the world's worst host queuing himself for 75 minutes. How do you preach for over an hour and still misread the program and the names? The National Prayer Breakfast is supposed to be calm, respectful, and clear. You go up, you say a few words about faith, unity, maybe a verse, maybe a story that lands, and then you sit down so the waffles don't get cold. Instead, Grumpy Trumpy treated it like open mic night at a rest stop. He wandered from thank yous to personal shout-outs to random thoughts about greatness, all while patting himself on the back like the ushers were there to rate his sermon on Yelp. The room had that careful, quiet energy. You know the tone: soft applause, polite smiles, everyone checking the program to see who comes next. He kept circling the same themes: how much people love him, how strong everything is when he's around, how spiritual he is. Then he says he's the most religious person you've ever seen without even getting into one solid passage. Not context, not meaning, just a fog of praise and self-praise. It's like claiming you're a chef while pointing at a microwave. So we throw up a quick Bible quiz on screen. 3 questions. What's the first book? Name a beatitude. Who denied Jesus 3 times? Big buzzer, wrong, next. We cut right from that to him misreading the program and stumbling through names. If you want a crash course in why details matter, start with pronouncing leaders' names right, especially at a faith and diplomacy event. This isn't karaoke. These are allies and partners who notice when you can't land a syllable. Past presidents kept these remarks short and centered. Think a few minutes, a verse tied to service, a call to humility, and they're done before the coffee goes lukewarm. The tone is steady and grounded. You can disagree with their politics and still admit they hit the assignment. Here, the clock just kept going. No structure, no through line, no real scripture thread to hold it up. It felt less like worship and more like wandering in a lobby while the band packs up. He butchered the president of Congo's name and barreled on as if accuracy is optional. In diplomacy, the name is the first handshake. In faith spaces, it shows respect. You mess it up, you signal you didn't prepare. Or worse, you don't care. That lands with clergy, with diplomats, with anyone who got their names scrambled at graduation and still remembers it. And the rambling isn't new. This is the same style that turns simple points into a maze of self-referential detours. When you talk about sacred things with that loose, salesy rhythm, people stop trusting the weight of the words. Credibility leaks out. On policy, it means confusion. On faith, it reads as theater. He stacks "I'm very religious" on top of "everyone says so," but the basics, clarity, scripture, correct names, fall through the floor. Donnie Diapers brought the vibe of a merch table to a prayer hall. So why 75 minutes? Because the goal wasn't depth, it was airtime. Keep talking, keep owning the mic, treat applause like oxygen. That's the move. Meanwhile, the message gets thinner the longer it runs. The audience stops listening and starts clock watching. It's performance without grounding, and that gap gets wider with every stray tangent. We needed a palate cleanser, so we sent Guillermo into Super Bowl week with one job: road test these policy as promo lines on players who can smell a busted play from a mile away. If NBC skipped the obvious follow-up, he won't. Let's see what happens when a lineman hears those wild claims and asks the simple question that never made it to air.